Notice anything different? So we are doing a dance at the Crow and Quill on July 30th, so hope to see you guys there. And the theme of the party is going to be creature, and I have a kind of leopard cheetah print skirt, and I thought, well, why not just use that and make some cute little ears to go with it. Now these are barrettes, they are not a headband. I can't wear headbands for very long because I get a really bad headache. So if you want to see how I came up with these and created these, please stay tuned. And remember, hit like and subscribe. Comment down below if you make these. I want to see a picture. Please send me a picture. And have fun with this. Be careful with the hot glue gun. Don't burn yourself. Any more precautions? Nope, I don't think so. Be careful with the scissors. Be careful with the hot glue gun. And enjoy. And remember to send me a message with a picture of you wearing your ears. See you guys in a minute for the tutorial. Okay, we are going to attempt to make some cat ears for a performance coming up. So some things that you'll need are cardboard, paint brushes, an assortment of paints in the colors of your choice, pen. I'm using hair clips. You can use a headband for this, but headbands give me a headache, so I'm using 2 of these. I have here also an assortment of ribbon we can use for decorating, and felt. Now this felt was a little bit too bright for my purposes, so that's what I'm going to use the paint for. I'm going to try to dull it out a little bit. I'm going to be trying to do some leopard print because the skirt that I have is leopard print, and we are going to a creature event. So it's kind of our interpretation on some kind of creature. You will also need a glue gun and glue sticks for this project.
Time for voiceover, Melanie! Woohoo! So here you see me tracing the curve of the hair barrette so that the ears will fit nicely to the hair barrette when we put it on later. And then you just want to draw out the top of your ear. Make sure your lines meet up in the middle. I kind of went a little too far out, so I had to adjust my line on the side here, but that's okay. And then once you have that drawn out, you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut that out. I would recommend getting a thinner piece of cardboard than I used because I had a little bit of a tough time getting this cut out and actually had to cut out smaller pieces and then trim up the ear. Once you get the first ear cut out, you can use it as a template for the second ear. Here I'm using black fingernail polish with some sparkle in it to paint over the white part of the ear so that they won't show through the black lace later. Here are the ears with 1 coat of black paint. Next I'm going to take my Craft Smart metallic paint and a wide paintbrush, and I'm just going to start smearing that paint on in random directions. Here's what my felt looked like after I added the brown metallic paint to it. You can see there are a lot of spots on there which we need, and now I'm going to take my black fingernail polish and I'm going to start outlining some of the dark brown spots.
The battery on the camera died and I had to charge it in the wall, and while that was charging I went ahead and put a second layer of black onto the back of the ears, and I also looked at my spots and I found 2 spot combinations that I like, and kind of darken the area around those spots with a mix of the darker gold and brown paint. And now I'm going to trace out the shape of the ear over each of the spots and then cut that out. Oh, and also while I was waiting for the camera to charge, clouds rolled in and now we have a thunderstorm and the lighting in here got a lot worse, so I had to turn on the overhead. So I apologize for the lighting. I'm still working on getting that perfect lighting for these videos. So please bear with me. Okay, let's get to tracing and cutting.
Here I am placing the ear over the spot combination that I liked, and I'm going to take my pen and I'm just going to trace around it, and then I'm going to grab my scissors and cut that out, and I'll repeat for the second ear. Now that we have our ears cut out, we're going to glue them to the brown side of the cardboard. And I wouldn't recommend doing this all at once like I did it. I would do it in smaller sections because some of mine had to be re-glued throughout the making of the ears. Now that we have our felt glued down, you can see there's a little bit of edge overlapping, so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim that right up on both the ears. Next, I'm taking my pretty black lace with the sequin flowers, and I'm going to measure a piece, and it's going to hang off both sides. That's okay. It's also not going to fit the curve of the bottom. You're going to have a little bit of the black paint showing at the bottom, and that's why we painted it black. Then take your glue gun, put down some glue, and place your lace on top. Okay, so our ear is not long enough for 3 strips of lace, so we're going to cut out just 1 sequin flower, and we're going to glue that to the top of the ear so that it is covered. Remember, if you are younger, to get your parents' help while doing this, and always be cautious when using a glue gun. Don't burn yourself. Next, we're going to cut out the middle strip of lace just like we did for the bottom strip of lace and glue it down as well. Here we're going to take our scissors and trim up the lace just like we did for the felt. Next, I'm taking a pretty black ribbon and I'm going to use this to cover the sides of the cardboard. So I want to measure down both sides of the ear, and I want to cut it longer so that I can glue the ribbon down onto the bottom and secure it more firmly. Next, I'm going to take my glue gun, and with a generous amount of glue, I'm going to start gluing this ribbon down bit by bit, but make sure that some of the ribbon hangs over the edge. Glue down the pieces of ribbon that are hanging down over the bottom edge to the bottom. Here's what the ears look like, both front and back, once you get the ribbon glued down. Next, I'm going to take a hairbret, some pretty black ribbon, and my glue gun, and I'm going to secure the ribbon to the barrette. First, I'm going to take out the metal bar that's inside. Then I'm going to glue the ribbon to one end, and then I'm going to wrap it all the way to the other end using glue on the bottom of the barrette, and I will secure it at the other side with some more glue. Once you're done wrapping, just pop the metal bar back into the barrette and close it, making sure that you didn't glue the clasp shut. Here are what they both look like, and you'll see there's a little bit of silver, but that's okay. It will be covered up by the ear when we glue it down. Now you want to make sure both of your clasps are facing either towards each other or away from each other when we glue the ears down so that one ear doesn't end up backwards. Here I'm using my hot glue gun to put a generous amount of glue along the bottom of the ear, and then I'm going to stick that to the barrette, and I'm going to hold it down for a few seconds to make sure that it is good and secure. So here's what they look like attached to the barrettes, and I decided that I wanted a little bit of extra decoration along the bottom to hide some of the glue, and so I decided just to glue on some little black beads that I had at home. And here's what those beads look like. They're just very small, kind of bicone shaped beads. I'm not even sure what size these are. So here's our final product, both front and back. And you'll notice the back has got some great sparkle, which is awesome for dancing.
I hope you guys had a great time making your ears. Remember to hit like and subscribe. Also look me up on Instagram and Twitter. I am Shivering Shimmy on both of those. And again, please leave me a message on Facebook, leave me a message in the comments, or show me your own video about how you made your own ears. And I will see you guys later.